Hey scrapbook friends, it's Nicole and I'm here with another border tutorial for a border that I'm calling the Inside Out Circle border. And I will tell you that this actually started, this border idea kind of came together when I was playing around with one of the cover sheets of one of our paper packs. You know, I've talked before about how you can use the images on here, you know, on your layouts. And so I thought, well, I should play with that. I should come up with some ideas because I mostly only ever use the back. And so I did start with one. This is actually from Seaside, and it came out with this little border, but the dimensions didn't quite work out right. And this kind of annoyed me at the end. So then I had to kind of figure out what I wanted to do that would fit a full 12-inch border. And so this is the result. So someday I'm hoping to do something more with the little thumbnail sketches or little thumbnail pictures. And of course you could do this. I mean, it still would be fine and just maybe space it a little bit differently. But this one's going to be a lot easier and a lot easier for me to explain to you. So here are a couple of samples I did as I was figuring it out. This one is from the Croptoberfest project recipe, if you have any extra of that particular project recipe. And this is with the new Joy to the World Christmas collection. But today for the demo, I'm going to be using Sparks of Magic, which is our, of course, not specific to any brand of theme park collection. And so you just need 3 papers and you want them to have some contrast. So you want to have, so this is a pattern. The back is just like a blue grid. The yellow has a plaid on the back, and then the red polka dot, which is my favorite. Now the back of this one has this wide stripe, and we probably will not end up using the back of this stripe just because I don't think we're gonna be able to position it just right. But that's okay because you don't have to use all the pages, you know, all the pieces to create the layout. You're just gonna use some of them. All right, then of course you're gonna need your 12-inch trimmer. You're going to need a piece of base cardstock, a tape runner. You're going to want your custom cutting system circles. We're going to use the medium sized circle and the green blade. It really is helpful if you have the mat that goes to the custom cutting system. The 13-inch mat works really well because that has the measurements on the outside, or some kind of a grid to work that out with. And then you're going to want some kind of stickers or embellishments to decorate, and possibly some foam squares if you like. All right, so first we're going to start by cutting our base paper into a 2 3/4 inch by 12 strip. All right, so that's going to be our base layer. And then we're going to take our other pieces. Now you see this one is not a full 12 by 12 piece. That's okay. You need it to be probably about 6 inches just to give you some wiggle room. 5 inches at the bare minimum. You could do 5 inches, but this is going to give me a little extra. And we want to cut all of these into some 2.5 inch strips. So there's one. Here's the yellow, and here's the black with the stars. I love this one. Okay, now the actual cutting of the circles is a little bit tricky. It makes sense in my head, but I'm not exactly sure it's gonna make as much sense as I try to explain it. So what we're going to use on the medium circle is we're going to be making use of just the lines on the tracks itself and these little feet that are on the bottom. They're little non-skid feet, and they're positioned kind of at 12, 3, 6, and 9 on a clock. And you need those because otherwise your paper is going to slide when you try to cut it, because we're going to cut right here at the end. So what I like to do is to position this on my mat so that it aligns with the grid. So that way I know this is straight. But then when I put this down, I want to put the little feet, the little non-skid feet in the corners, and I'm going to line the edge of the cutting, you know, the empty space right along the sides. Hopefully that's right on there. Okay, so I'm going to scoot that up a little bit. All right, but you see there's not a lot for the pattern to grip onto. That's why you want these little grippers to be on the corners. That's going to keep your paper from sliding as you cut this. You could probably cut this from a bigger piece. Originally I did that and I just kept trimming it down, but this seems to work pretty well. I'm just going to position this so that I've got it just even. I've got those corners holding it down. Put the feet in the groove. Oh, I scooted. Let's see if we can correct that. So that's the hard thing, is keeping it from scooting, but I think I did okay with that one. All right, and I'm going to cut all three of my papers the same way by positioning this right up at the edge. So basically what you're trying to do is just center this so that when you cut the square afterwards, the negative space is going to be centered. So just being super careful. When I did it with the little thumbnails, I cut the circles out before I trimmed these apart. So if you decide to try it with that. And then this last piece, position that right on there. Ordinarily, I would put my head over the top of that to check that, but whenever I've done that before, I think of that scene in Harry Potter where Hermione says, "Is that what my hair looks like from the back?" And that, yeah, so I just have to use the camera and hope that it's straight. So, okay, so now you have 3 circles and then these 3 pieces. We're done with the mat for a minute. And then we're gonna cut the negative space out. And this is a 2.5 inch wide, and we wanna also cut this at 2.5 inches. So basically that's giving us a square with this little circle in it. Oh, oops, actually, and then we also need another 2.5 inch square. So you might as well cut that before you take your paper off the trimmer. So you've got your circle, your negative, and then your complete square, and this is extra. Oops. I always think I'm done after I've cut that part. Okay. 2.5. So you see this one, that wasn't a full piece. I still had enough extra. You can, if you end up with a piece like this, you could cut this circle out of it. I found what was easiest for me was to actually put a bit of repositionable adhesive and stick it to my mat so that it didn't slide, because it really is harder when you don't have as much to grip onto. So we're done with our trimmer. And we're just now going to kind of assemble these however we like. So if you look at my samples, I just kind of tried to give it some variety to use the fronts and the backs. You start with a solid. I'm going to start down here with this guy. And then you put a half circle on top of it. And then you're going to put, okay, see, we're not going to use that one because that's the stripe. Then you're going to put a full circle on the bottom here and then leave that little half circle. But since I have the yellow right here, I don't really want to do yellow. Oh, I really want to use this black, but I kind of like that blue. Okay, maybe I'm going to, oh yeah, we'll do this instead. No, that's too much. We'll do this. So you just kind of have to play around with what you want to do. I definitely want this one, this one. And I think I can do that. And I can do that with this and with that, maybe. I think I'm going to do this and that. All right, oops, off the screen, sorry about that. So I've just kind of positioned it just how I think that I'm going to like it. And now the secret to this is to go back to your grid, because each one of these little sections fits in its own 4-inch space. And so you kind of want to make an invisible line, well, just to make it spaced evenly. So I just used my mat, lined it up again. And so here's my 4-inch lines right here. So I'm going to center these two pieces as if I was leaving about 1/8 of an inch border. So I'm not going up to the line right here. I'm just coming just in 4-inch line, and then I'll do the see, this one I didn't quite center. I think I'm going to do it that way, because we'll cover up the skinnier edge right here. Just kind of try to line these pieces up, and then put your circle. So basically you're ending it with two pieces that kind of this circle and this circle, but then we're overlapping them. So now I'm going to get to this 4, between the 4 and the 8, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pretend I'm just working in a 4-inch spot and have this about 1/8 of an inch here. And you wouldn't have to even use fronts and backs. If you wanted to do this one with cardstock, you could also do it with cardstock. But we'll just align those pieces. Apparently I do like the red polka dot the most, because you can see that's the only one of these patterns that I'm using all 3 pieces of. And then we'll do the last. So this one is, a lot of it is just your own, you know, your own preference, what you like. I mean, you may hate this polka dot. It is very in your face, kind of. That's probably why I like it. Okay, so now I've got my base down. And so I have basically 3 identical sections with different papers, which is the square piece, the negative space, and then the circle, and then they're divided. And then the fun part begins, and you can start decorating them. I have so far mostly used stickers on these others that I did, but I did put some of the gemstones just because I like the gemstones. I like some dimension. So I have some foam squares. Let's see, I've used some of these stickers already. So this one, because I've used my stickers, I think I might try and see what I can find in the embellishment pack. Oh, I like this one. Maybe right here. And you just have to figure out what you want to do. You don't want too many words. This is actually feeling like maybe too many words. What could I do with these? Because I've used a lot of these, it makes it harder. Well, I'm going to go with this for right now. Use some foam squares. And I really do like the bigger foam squares better. So because of that, I try to use the little ones when I can and just get rid of them. I do end up using a lot more of the little ones than I do the big ones, and they make a mess, leaving all these little backing pieces all over. All right, so we're going to put this right here. I think I'm not going to do this one. This is picture perfect. Let's see if I can find something that doesn't have a word on it. All right. So I think I might use this one, but I'm going to cut off the one more ride because I don't want any more words. I've got wish on a star and dreams do come true. So I'm going to do this one. Maybe I will. I think I'll stick this one down. This is the part that's just, you know, you just kind of have to play with it yourself and figure out what you like and what embellishments you have left. And we'll put a few more foam squares on here. I always like to put one in the middle just so that it doesn't squish all the way down. And then, I don't know if I want 2 tags now. See, it's just, it can just get a little bit hard to figure out what you want to do. All right, we'll still use the tag. I liked that. Okay, take off these. And because I angled that one this way, I think I'm going to angle this one this way and a little bit higher up. Probably could have put some little ribbon or something in it, some string. I may come back and do that. I do have a few little starry stickers here. So I think I'm going to use a couple of these. And then some hearts. Actually, I think I'll make this a little, oh, I thought they were 2 big ones. I'm gonna make this a little symmetrical with 1 heart in the middle and then the little ones on either side. And maybe a bow. Oh, if I do the bow, I need some foam squares on that guy too. Just to add that dimension. It's totally optional if you don't care about the foam squares. You can absolutely, this one, you know, I just stuck them all down to the base. But then I'm going to throw a couple of these gems on here. I don't use these a lot. They, I don't do a lot of real dimensional things on my layouts except for the foam squares because I worry a little bit about, they're just a little bit rigid. So on a border on the outside, I think that that is a great place to put some. Oh, that's too dark. Let's see, we'll put it up here. I'll do this lighter red sticker, red and the yellow. That's a little symmetrical too. The gem, big gem. Sometimes when I peel these off, the little adhesive part sticks to this base, but turns out you can just peel it off and use it like as a piece of double-sided adhesive. And it works great. Okay. I think, oh, now see, I've got to do some asymmetrical. All right. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, I wouldn't use these 2 on the same page, but I think that turned out really cute. I love the ability to use all the different pieces of the paper that I like. And this would definitely be something you could do if you just had a few things left over in your paper pack. You use some narrow strips. You could use it for this. You could also use punched shapes here. You could punch something out. You could use alphabet stickers, any of those things. But it's just a fun, really versatile idea that hopefully will be something that you can use yourself on your own books. So just as a reminder, here are the pieces that you're going to need to create this border. You want the cardstock border to be 2 3/4 inches. You want your paper strips to be 2.5 inches. You're going to use the medium circle with the green blade on the inside, and then you're going to trim this negative after you've cut out the circle to be a 2.5 inch square and another 2.5 inch square. I guess I should have written that down. All right, additional. All right, hopefully these directions made sense to you. I know this part's a little fussy to try and figure out how to get that exactly centered. If you find that your paper is scooting, even though you're using these little feet on the corners, maybe try a little bit of the repositionable adhesive on the paper to keep it from sliding. So I'd love to know what you think. And if you end up making a border like this, I would love to see it. Feel free to share it with me. Probably the easiest way I know to do that is on my Nicole's Scrapbooks Facebook page. You can message it to me there, or you're welcome to post it. I will be sharing this video over there on Facebook, and you can post your finished border in the comments of the video on Facebook. And if anybody knows another way that I can let people share, like in the comments on YouTube, I don't think I can. I would love, that would be fine with me too. I just would love to see what you come up with. All right, thanks so much for watching, and happy scrapbooking.